Grand Theft Auto. In 1997, the first Grand Theft Auto introduced a chaotic formula that reshaped what video games could offer. At its core, the game gave players something groundbreaking for the time: total freedom. You roam the top-down streets of three sprawling fictional cities: Liberty City, San Andreas, and Vice City, each loosely inspired by a real-world counterpart. Players stepped into the shoes of one of 8 criminal characters, like Travis, Kivlov, or Nikki, and took on jobs ranging from stealing iconic sports cars to navigating intricate delivery routes. These cities weren't merely backdrops, but dynamic spaces, bustling with pedestrians, traffic jams, and ever-watchful cops ready to derail your plans at a moment's notice. The bold top-down perspective, while dated by today's standards, was central to the game's charm and simplicity. It allowed players to cause mayhem on an unusual scale, whether by barreling down sidewalks in stolen cars or taking a more cautious route to avoid police attention. This freedom put players in full control, making every playthrough unique, even though the gameplay itself was relatively straightforward. For many, it was an adrenaline rush unlike anything else at the time. One early player recalled how exhilarating it felt to steal a car, speed through traffic, and narrowly escape the cops, all while the game's radio stations blared cheesy rock anthems. But for others, particularly adult critics and parents, the sheer lawlessness sparked outrage. The game became a lightning rod for controversy, sparking debates across households and media outlets. With missions steeped in crime, unflinching depictions of violence, and the ability to interact with the world in ways that were unheard of in games, GTA ignited a moral panic. New outlets latched onto its provocative content, branding it a danger to impressionable minds. Government officials and religious leaders condemned it, with some calling for outright bans. Ironically, this criticism only fueled GTA's success. Rockstar, known as DMA Design at the time, leaned into the controversy, understanding that its taboo reputation was drawing attention. The result? Massive sales and a cultural moment where kids and young adults couldn't stop talking about this forbidden new game. Yet, GTA wasn't purely about shock value. Its satirical take on crime and society laid the groundwork for the franchise's future tone. Beneath the gritty missions, the game poked fun at the institutions and norms of the real world. Corrupt politicians, stereotypical gang bosses, and even the absurdity of everyday life were all targets of its sly commentary. The radio stations added another layer, blending humor and parody into the game's atmosphere. This satirical voice became a defining feature of the series, setting it apart from other games portraying crime as purely cool and heroic. Financially, the game's risky approach paid off, becoming a global phenomenon. By the end of its run, Grand Theft Auto sold millions of copies worldwide, cementing itself as a staple of late 90s gaming. It also boosted the visibility of video games, pulling them deeper into mainstream culture as more than just a niche hobby for kids. Still, the game did have its limitations. The rudimentary graphics and top-down view restricted how immersive the cities could feel, often reducing environments to navigational challenges rather than vibrant playgrounds. Missions, while clever, lacked the cinematic flair or emotional stakes of later entries. Even so, the ingredients for something visionary were all there, waiting to mature. The brilliance of Grand Theft Auto lay in how it pushed boundaries. It opened the door to an entirely new way of experiencing open worlds, where players were no longer mere passengers, but driving the action. DMA Design clearly understood the potential of their creation. With this strong start, they laid the foundation for future games to take risks and raise the stakes in storytelling, technology, and player agency. Grand Theft Auto 2. 2 years after Grand Theft Auto shook the gaming world, DMA Design released its sequel, Grand Theft Auto 2, in 1999. The game retained its signature open-world chaos, endless opportunities for criminal mischief, and playful disregard for societal norms while introducing fresh mechanics and features to evolve the series. The setting shifted to a retro-futuristic metropolis called Anywhere City, a neon-lit urban sprawl blending near-future technology with remnants of the past. Flying cars zipped through the skies, drones buzzed overhead, and dystopian elements reflected the late 90s fascination with a gritty, yet colorful future. Players navigated towering skyscrapers, industrial zones, and seedy back alleys, each area brimming with personality and danger. One of the standout innovations in GTA 2 was its gang respect system, which added a strategic layer to the gameplay. The city was divided into districts controlled by 7 distinct crime syndicates, each with its own quirks and loyalties. Completing missions for one gang earned their favor, but often alienated rival factions. For instance, working with the corporate Zaibatsu Corporation might involve sabotaging the anarchic loonies, escalating tensions between the groups. Push a faction too far by killing their members or aiding their enemies, and they'd retaliate, making their territory hostile and difficult to navigate. This system encouraged players to think carefully about their alliances, as each decision shaped the city's dynamics. One memorable mission tasked players with delivering a stolen prototype vehicle to the Yakuza, but doing so risked incurring the wrath of the rival SRS scientists. This interplay between factions offered replayability, as each playthrough could unfold differently based on the choices made. The protagonist, Cloud Speed, marked a step forward for the series. Unlike the nameless characters of the first game, Cloud had a name, a backstory, and a role in the narrative, signaling the franchise's gradual shift toward more defined storytelling. While the plot remained minimal, revolving around Claude's rise through the criminal underworld, his character hinted at the deeper narratives that would redefine future entries in the series. Not all changes resonated with players. Some found the futuristic Anywhere City less relatable than the real-world inspired setting of the first game. While its aesthetic was distinctive, featuring neon streets and ambiguous time periods, it lacked the grounding familiarity of a modern urban environment. Critics praised the ambition of the setting but noted that the game didn't address certain limitations from its predecessor. For example, the graphics saw only minor improvements, and while mechanics like the gang respect system were refined, they weren't groundbreaking. Compared to titles like Driver, which pushed 3D vehicle mechanics, GTA 2 felt like it was treading water in some areas. The game leaned heavily into dark comedy, with gangs like the militarized Yakuza and the chaotic loonies providing humor and menace in equal measure. Missions often balanced absurdity with violence, pushing boundaries and sparking controversy over its mature content. One player described the game as a chaotic sandbox where every choice had consequences, reflecting both its appeal and its challenges. The introduction of live-action footage in the cinematic intro further showcased Rockstar's creative experimentation. This short film depicted Claude's violent demise, framing the game as a prelude to his downfall, a bold narrative choice that hinted at the storytelling ambitions to come. Commercially, GTA 2 performed moderately well, selling around 2 million copies across platforms like PlayStation and Windows, with later ports to Dreamcast and Game Boy Color. Critics praised its gang respect system and quirky tone, but noted its lack of significant evolution. The PlayStation version earned a Metacritic score of 70, reflecting solid but unremarkable reception. Despite its mixed reviews, GTA 2 laid the groundwork for the series' leap into fully 3D environments, ensuring the franchise's relevance during a rapidly evolving era in gaming. Grand Theft Auto 3. When Grand Theft Auto 3 launched in 2001, it redefined open-world gaming with its immersive 3D environment. For the first time, players were dropped into a fully realized world, and Liberty City, no longer a flat map with symbols and sprites, became a dynamic, living environment. Thanks to the game's use of the renderware engine, the series transitioned from its top-down perspective into a sprawling open world that felt alive. Skyscrapers loomed over bustling streets filled with pedestrians, cabs zipped by with angry honks, and streetlights cast long shadows as day turned into night. The leap to 3 dimensions wasn't just cosmetic, it allowed players to experience the chaos from a ground-level view. Whether navigating the maze of Chinatown or dodging police near the docks, every car collision, shootout, or chase felt immediate and cinematic. Before its release, skepticism loomed. Could a game this ambitious really work? Open-world games in 3D were rare, and those that attempted it often faltered in scope or performance. Liberty City's size, the unpredictability of its gameplay, and the intricate interactions between its layers posed staggering technical challenges. Rockstar North, formerly DMA Design, understood these doubts but remained committed to their vision. The result wasn't just a functioning game, it exceeded expectations and set a new standard. At the heart of GTA 3's story was Claude, the series' first silent protagonist. Betrayed and left for dead by his partner and lover Catalina during a bank heist, Claude embarks on a journey of revenge through Liberty City's criminal underworld. His silence wasn't a limitation, but a deliberate choice that let players project themselves onto him. The revenge plot provided a simple, yet effective backbone for the chaos and corruption he encountered. A standout mission, Bomb the Base Act 2, exemplifies this. Working with explosives expert 8-Ball, Claude infiltrates a cargo ship filled with armed enemies, showcasing his resourcefulness and the game's cinematic tension. The supporting cast, from the cunning Salvatore Leone to the fiery 8-Ball, added depth and made Liberty City feel like a stage teeming with unpredictable players. Alongside innovation came controversy. GTA 3 didn't hold back in its depiction of crime, placing players in morally gray situations. Robbing civilians, violent police confrontations, and unfiltered depictions of corruption drew sharp criticism. Headlines warned parents, but the controversy only fueled interest. Players flocked to experience what critics called a bold, unapologetic vision of urban chaos. Rockstar had turned its game into a cultural lightning rod, and the attention only boosted its success. The game's influence was immediate and far-reaching. The mechanics we now take for granted, freedom to explore, non-linear missions, and emergent gameplay, trace back to GTA 3. Liberty City wasn't just a sandbox, it was a living organism, reacting to every action with escalating consequences. Stealing a car might trigger a police chase, while a stray bullet could send civilians fleeing in panic. The city felt alive, encouraging experimentation and rewarding curiosity. By 2003, GTA 3 had sold over 14.5 million units, cementing Rockstar Games as an industry powerhouse. It wasn't just a game, it was a cultural phenomenon that raised the profile of video games as a storytelling medium. Though not without flaws, its ambition and innovation set a benchmark that remains influential today. Vice City. In 2002, Grand Theft Auto Vice City took everything GTA 3 introduced and transformed it into a vibrant, unmistakably 80s world. Inspired by 1980s Miami, Vice City was drenched in pastel suits, palm-lined streets, and the kind of excess that defined the decade. The setting wasn't just a backdrop, it was meticulously crafted to feel alive. From the beachfront hotels to the neon-soaked strip clubs and the iconic Ocean View Hotel, every corner of Vice City radiated personality. Rockstar drew heavily from films like Scarface and TV shows like Miami Vice, weaving cultural references into its DNA. This attention to detail, from the architecture to the flashy cars, made Vice City feel like a love letter to the decade's extravagance. Stepping into this world was Tommy Vercetti, the series' first protagonist with a voice. Played by Ray Liotta, his sharp wit and menacing tone brought depth to the story. After being ambushed during a drug deal, Tommy clawed his way to the top of Vice City's criminal underworld, delivering biting one-liners and ruthless decisions along the way. One standout mission, Rub Out, has Tommy storming a mansion in a bloody takeover, cementing his dominance. This wasn't just about building an empire, it was about stamping his identity on the city. Unlike GTA 3's Silent Claude, Tommy's full realized character added emotional weight to every interaction, whether he was intimidating rivals or forming alliances with flamboyant figures like the eccentric Ricardo Diaz. His charisma and ambition made his rise to power as gripping as it was brutal. Vice City didn't just look authentic, it sounded like the 80s too. The in-game radio stations curated a soundtrack that captured the era's energy, featuring hits from Michael Jackson, Blondie, and A Flock of Seagulls. Tracks like Out of Touch by Hall & Oates turned high-speed chases into cinematic moments, while Toto's Africa added an ironic backdrop to chaotic shootouts. The music wasn't just a feature, it was integral to the game's identity, amplifying the atmosphere with every beat. Even today, those radio stations evoke the essence of Vice City, making them as iconic as the city itself. San Andreas. The success of Vice City set the stage for Rockstar's next leap forward. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Released 2 years later, it expanded the series' ambition, offering an open world that felt like an entire state encapsulated into a single game. Set in 1992 across the fictional state of San Andreas, it included 3 sprawling cities, Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas, connected by rural highways, deserts, and forests. Players could steal a luxury cull in Las Venturas, race through dusty back roads, and roll into Los Santos just as gang warfare erupted in the streets. San Andreas introduced RPG-like mechanics that made Carl C.J. Johnson feel like an extension of the player. From hitting the gym to gaining weight, CJ's appearance and skills evolved based on choices, adding depth to the chaos. His story of family loyalty and survival resonated deeply, especially in moments like the betrayal of Big Smoke, a pivotal twist that left players stunned. The soundtrack, packed with West Coast gangsta rap from Dr. Dre and Ice Cube, alongside diverse genres, mirrored the game's vastness and cultural depth. Together, Vice City and San Andreas redefined gaming, blending nostalgia, ambition, and storytelling into unforgettable experiences. Grand Theft Auto 4. In 2008, Grand Theft Auto 4 marked the beginning of the HD era for the franchise, completely reimagining the series with more realistic graphics, an emotionally charged narrative, and intricate world building. The game introduced players to a dramatically overhauled Liberty City, a digital New York City teeming with life and complexity. From the towering skyscrapers to the graffiti-covered subways, every block of Liberty City seemed deliberately designed to reflect Rockstar's obsession with detail. Powered by the Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, the game set a new standard for open-world titles with advanced physics, lifelike lighting, and animations that made the world feel dynamic and immersive. As the heart of the story was Niko Bellic, an Eastern European immigrant haunted by his past as a soldier and searching for a fresh start in the land of opportunity. Liberty City, however, had no warm welcomes for Niko. Promised wealth and success by his cousin Roman, Niko instead found himself entangled in debt, betrayal, and a city that thrived on criminal opportunity. His struggle to reconcile his violent past with his hope for a better future was exemplified in moments like the mission A Dish Served Cold, where Niko confronts a former war comrade who betrayed him. This emotional conflict, seeking revenge while yearning for peace, highlighted his complexity and made his journey deeply personal. Unlike the larger-than-life protagonists of earlier games, Niko's motivations revolved around loyalty, survival, and the weight of his choices, making him a relatable and human character. The game's focus on realism set it apart from contemporaries like Saints Row 2, which leaned into over-the-top chaos and humor. GTA 4 took a more grounded approach, exploring mature themes like disillusionment, morality, and the psychological toll of violence. However, this tonal shift didn't resonate with everyone. While critics praised the game's seriousness, its heavier driving mechanics and grittier tone divided players. The driving system, which emphasized weight and physics, was polarizing. Some appreciated its realism, while others found it frustrating compared to the more arcade-like handling of earlier titles. Additionally, the darker tone meant less of the chaotic humor that had defined the series, leaving Liberty City feeling colder and more somber. For many, though, this realism elevated the series from entertaining escapism to meaningful storytelling. Grand Theft Auto V. Grand Theft Auto V is more than just a game. It's a cultural phenomenon and a financial powerhouse. By December 2024, it had shipped over 210 million copies globally and generated over $8.5 billion in revenue, making it one of the most financially successful entertainment products in history. It outperformed blockbuster films and hit albums, earning $800 million on its first day and crossing $1 billion in just 3 days. These astounding numbers reflected not only its massive fan base, but also the staggering scope and ambition Rockstar brought to the project. At the core of GTA V's innovation was its revolutionary 3-protagonist system. Players could seamlessly switch between Michael DeSanta, Franklin Clinton, and Trevor Phillips, each bringing a unique perspective to the story. Michael, a retired bank robber trapped in the monotony of luxury and therapy, embodied a man wrestling with his past. Franklin, a street-smart hustler, represented ambition and the struggle to escape poverty. Finally, Trevor, an unhinged wildcard, added unpredictability and raw chaos to every scenario. The switchable dynamic didn't just provide fresh gameplay opportunities, it allowed Rockstar to weave their narratives together in creative ways. Missions often required all 3 characters to collaborate, adding layers of strategy and narrative depth. For instance, in the heist missions, Trevor might pilot a helicopter, Franklin could provide cover as a sniper, and Michael led the team on the ground. This structure ensured no 2 missions felt the same, keeping players engaged throughout the story. Rockstar didn't just aim to replicate what worked before, but to transform open-world gaming. Building from the foundation set by previous games, the team utilized the overhauled Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, aka Rage, to push the boundaries of what players thought possible. The technical achievements of GTA 5 were staggering. The updated Rage engine introduced advanced lighting systems, weather effects, and seamless character switching. It also integrated the natural motion Euphoria engine, which enhanced character animations, making every movement, whether it was running, fighting, or falling, feel lifelike. For environmental interactions, the game used the bullet physics library, ensuring that objects and environments reacted realistically to player actions. This combination of technical innovations brought the world of Los Santos to life in a way no open-world game had before. The map was vast, yet incredibly detailed, spanning the urban sprawl of Los Santos, serene coastlines, arid deserts, and the rugged peaks of Mount Gilead. Each area offered unique experiences. Players could transition from dodging traffic in the heart of Los Santos to skydiving over the countryside without a loading screen in sight. Central to the gameplay was the heist-driven narrative that tied all 3 protagonists together. These heists became the backbone of the game's structure, anchoring the story's stakes and gameplay. Players planned every detail, from recruiting crew members to choosing between stealthy or aggressive approaches. One memorable mission, the Paleto Score, saw the trio robbing a small town bank, donning masks, and wielding heavy artillery as chaos erupted. It wasn't just the scale of the missions that impressed, but how they underscored the personal dynamics between Michael, Franklin, and Trevor. The narrative explored themes of ambition, betrayal, and moral compromise, presenting a ruthless look at the pursuit of the so-called American dream. Each protagonist represented different aspects of this dream, often in conflict with one another. The friction between Michael's desire for a stable life, Trevor's destructive impulses, and Franklin's ambition grounded the story in compelling, character-driven drama. Beyond its gameplay, GTA 5 made sharp satirical statements about contemporary America. Los Santos served as a hyper-stylized parody of Los Angeles, with billboards advertising fictional products and pedestrian dialogues that poked fun at trends like social media obsession and celebrity worship. Through characters like Jimmy DeSanta, Michael's aimless, slacker son, and Franklin's opportunistic friend Lamar, Rockstar lampooned modern culture. Missions like infiltrating a tech company called Life Invader, an obvious satire of Facebook, highlighted the absurdity of Silicon Valley's ambitions. The radio systems, another hallmark of the series, added to this commentary with tracks that perfectly capture the game's environment and humorous advertisements mocking consumer culture. Every detail reinforced the game's biting critique, ensuring its satire resonated with millions of players around the globe. The success of GTA 5 wasn't just a result of its single-player campaign, but also its online component, GTA Online. By March 2022, the game had spanned 3 console generations thanks to enhanced editions on platforms like the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and later, the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S. Its enduring relevance is partly due to GTA Online, which took the open-world framework of GTA 5 and transformed it into a persistent online playground. Players could team up with friends, engage in large-scale heists, or customize vehicles and properties, keeping the game fresh over a decade later. The constant updates and expansions ensured millions of players stayed connected, making GTA Online a standalone success within the larger franchise. Grand Theft Auto 6. The highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6 is poised to redefine what players expect from open-world gaming. After more than a decade since Grand Theft Auto 5 took the industry by storm, Rockstar Games is revisiting one of its most iconic settings, Vice City. Confirmed as the primary location, Vice City returns as a modern-day metropolis inspired by Miami, trading its 80s aesthetic for a contemporary vibe. This updated cityscape is rumored to feature sharp satire on today's culture, with nods to social media platforms, influencer lifestyles, and the societal divides shaped by technology. From sleek skyscrapers to sprawling suburbs, the city will reflect the complexities and contradictions of modern life, offering players a dynamic backdrop for their adventures. A major evolution in GTA 6's storytelling comes with the introduction of dual protagonists, Lucia and Jason. This marks the first time the series features a female lead, with Lucia reportedly portrayed as a Latina woman navigating the criminal underworld. Her inclusion signals Rockstar's willingness to explore new perspectives, potentially delving into themes of cultural identity, ambition, and resilience. While details about her backstory remain sparse, fans speculate her motivations could involve escaping poverty or seeking revenge, adding emotional depth to her character. Jason, whose story remains under wraps, is expected to complement Lucia's journey, with their partnership evoking a Bonnie and Clyde-style dynamic. By narrowing the focus to 2 characters, Rockstar appears to be refining the multi-character system introduced in GTA 5, allowing for a more intimate and interconnected narrative. On the technical side, GTA 6 is building a sandbox so detailed it mirrors the unpredictability of real life. The Rockstar Advanced Game Engine, Rage, responsible for the stunning realism of Red Dead Redemption 2, is rumored to deliver groundbreaking advancements. Players can expect dynamic weather systems, natural disasters, and reactive AI that adapts to their decisions, creating a world that feels alive. Leaks suggest that the game's maps will be the largest in the series, spanning multiple locations beyond Vice City and blending dense urban spaces with untamed wilderness. For example, missions might evolve based on player choices, like deciding whether to bribe or intimidate an NPC, which could alter the mission's outcome and ripple across the story. Rockstar's trademark social commentary is also expected to shine. While GTA 5 satirized celebrity culture and economic disparity, GTA 6 may dive deeper into modern obsessions like online surveillance, influencer culture, and the commodification of privacy. These themes, paired with sharp writing, could make the game's world feel both relatable and cutting. With a May 2026 release confirmed for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series XS, GTA 6 is shaping up to be more than just a game. It's a cultural milestone in the making. With GTA 6 on the horizon, anticipation is at an all-time high. What features do you hope to see? And how do you think Rockstar will redefine gaming this time? Share your favorite GTA moments in the comments, because wherever this series heads next, its legacy will continue to inspire.